Okay, so my remix project is going to be about red tide and why it is one of the most severe social issues in the state of Florida. This semester, I've actually written an essay about red tide and how destructive it can be to our local waters and how it can affect people, not only fishermen or people who, let's just say, live on the beach, but how it affects a lot of other different factors. Especially it really does truly affect every single Floridian. It affects people who come visit Florida from out of state. Red tide is something that should not be taken lightly. Over the past few years, Rick Scott, since he's been in office, has done what he can financially to be able to designate dollars to scientific studies to help find a cure for red tide. And, obviously, lots of scientists have been working very hard and staying on top of it and trying to figure out cures and different creative ideas and ways that we can kind of mitigate red tide, but it has been very challenging. When I was doing some of my research, it was very interesting to see that there are not many promising leads on how we are going to eliminate red tide from affecting our local waters here in Florida. A few of the things that I really keyed in on in my essay were that storms are pretty much our best chance of being able to stop red tide, especially when it is already here. And there is another method, an ozone scientific method, where they put these chemicals in the water, which helps to disturb the chemical bond that red tide creates, especially when it's in full effect. But the issue with this ozone method that we have developed is that it is not proven to be successful on larger bodies of water. Yes, works very well on small bodies of water like canals and lakes and stuff like that, or small enclosured little bays of water. But when it's on the beach or when it's out in the bay, when you're seeing these fish get blown in, you're seeing this red tide get blown in, we're stuck. We're pretty much helpless. There's no real way to stop it, and that's very scary. Very scary. I think one of the main issues that we have, especially as younger people, but even as older people, and it's not just specific to Floridians, but a lot of people don't worry about these issues until they are already here, or they don't worry about things until it's already too late, and they don't want to, they don't really want to have a strong work ethic to be able to stop this stuff. And by not having a strong work ethic, it makes these issues, especially this type of social issue, very hard to ever be stopped. No one's going to do it for us. It's not just going to go away. Red tide has been around since the 1600s, and it's been affecting local wildlife, not only in the water, but outside of the water as well. What it comes down to is, slowly but surely, we're seeing red tide get worse and worse and have more and more effect. And who knows what red tide will look like in the next 10, 15, 20 years. But if there's ever been a time to be able to stop this terrible disease in the water, it's now. Technology is enhancing. We have the dollars and the funding to be able to figure this stuff out. What it really is going to take is it's going to take support from the local people here in Florida, and it's going to take support from people all around the country. And it's going to be a lot of hard work for us to really be able to make a change. This is one of those problems where the change is going to have to start with us, and it will funnel down, and we'll really start seeing a difference. But unless everyone's all hands on deck and is working hard together for the bigger picture, we'll never see a difference with red tide. And who knows how destructive it will be. Do some research. Find out what you can do in your local community, and if there's groups that you can become a member of, or if there's local cleanups or educational classes or opportunities where you can make very educational speeches potentially in front of others that are not aware of exactly what red tide is and why it happens, because we need people to be more aware. Like I was saying before, everyone's going to have to buy into the same picture. Everyone's going to have to be wanting to see a change, and until then, we won't see one.